What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin' Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. Once again, barring a call-in, we're gonna have a shorter show today. But I just wanted to record today on Friday. We got Stand Deliver coming up. I want to really talk about that. Also, as you all know, NBA regular season winding down. Going to be looking at the standings every single day. Seeding is very important. Cavs, they escaped with a win last night, and they clinched a playoff spot. They've been playing some good basketball. They're only a game behind the Knicks right now for the 3 seed, currently the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Celtics are now 2.5 games ahead of the Knicks for the 2 seed. So most likely it looks like Pistons are going to be the 1, Boston's going to be the 2, 3 and 4, and then Knicks and Cavs. We'll see what happens there. Atlanta right now is the 5 seed. They continue to play some good basketball. Philadelphia back in the 6 seed for now at 42 and 34. Toronto with the same record. Philly right now is the tiebreaker over them. So Toronto is the first play-in team. Charlotte easily beats Phoenix last night, so they right now are the 8 seed, a game and a half out of the 6 seed. Magic are 40 and 36. They continue to struggle. They are a half game out of the 8 seed. They're the 9, and Miami is the last playing team. They continue to struggle. They are a half game out of the 9 seed and a game out of the 8 seed. They right now are the last playing team in the Eastern Conference. So, again, today would be Knicks hosting Philadelphia, Cleveland hosting Atlanta. First playing will be Toronto and Charlotte. Winner of that would play Boston. And then loser of that plays the winner of Orlando and Miami, and the winner of that plays Detroit in the first round. By the way, like I said yesterday, Cade Cunningham may be coming back. Western Conference, the Houston Rockets officially clinched the playoffs. The Lakers got their ass kicked. They lose by over 40 to the Thunder. Luka got hurt. He hurt his hamstring. Redick said he was clear, but he chose not to put him back in the game. Now, so we'll see where that goes, but Lakers right now, they're a game ahead of Denver for the 3 seed. Lakers are right out. I think they've won like 13 or 15. Denver also has been playing great. They've won 7 in a row. By the way, Spurs have won 11 games in a row. Right now, they're a 2 seed. They're 2 games out of the 1st seed in the West in the entire league. But Houston's going to the playoff spot. They're only a game and a half behind Denver for the 4. Right now, they're the 5. Minnesota is the 6 seed at 46 and 30, a game behind Houston for the 5. Phoenix is the first playing team. They're mathematically alive for the 6th seed, but it would take next to a miracle. Portland, Clippers, Golden State will all be playing team. Portland is 2.5 games behind Phoenix for the first playing spot. They continue to play some good basketball. Clippers are struggling a little bit. 39 and 38. They're a half game out of the 8 seed, and Golden State's the last playing team. They continue to struggle. Obviously, a lot of injuries. Stephen Curry's still hurt. He's trying to work his way back to get back before the end of the regular season, heading into the playoffs, but I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. They are 3 games out of the 9 seeds. Looks like they're definitely going to be in that bottom playing bracket. Right on the West playoff matchups, Lakers would host Minnesota again. Denver would host Houston. First playing round would be Phoenix and Portland. Winner of that plays the Spurs in the first round, and the loser of that plays the winner of the Clippers and Golden State. Then winner of that plays the Thunder in the first round. Before I preview, I'll stand and deliver, and that's actually going to be all for today. Slower-ish week this week in sports. Those should be picking up. We got the NFL draft in about 3 weeks. WrestleMania is in about 2 weeks. So I'll be talking about that a little bit more as it gets a little closer. We got, as I want to talk about, Konnor Griffin got an extension, so he's had really exciting 48 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. He also gets the blip that he's getting called up to the major leagues. He gets a 9-year extension worth $140 million. So congratulations to him. My math is correct. That comes to, I'm not even gonna try and do it. I think it's like a little over 16 or 17 million a year. But $140 million for a 19-year-old kid. That's a lot of money. That's crazy. But again, that $140 million for a kid who's 19, it's a lot. He's not gonna make that money. The kind of money he's going to make over the next 9 years, for at least another 4 or 5. He can sell at the market at 28, 29 years old. And then the Pirates have a team it's very young, have a lot of inexperience. He's lacking kind of those true franchise building blocks as they try and finish off this rebuild. And they can identify one with Konnor Griffin because now they have him for the next 9 years under contract. He gets a 9-year extension. He'll make his MLB debut later today. Flory Bindunga from Kansas in college basketball. He has declared for the draft. He also is going to remain in the portal. He averaged this past year. Let me bring up his numbers. He averaged 13 points and 9 rebounds a game. He was third in the Big 12 in rebounding. Of course, Kansas was a 4 seed in the tournament, but loses in the round of 32 to the St. John's. Slightly disappointing year for a school like Kansas. But so he is either going to enter the draft, or if he thinks that maybe the NBA isn't for him yet, if he thinks you're probably not going to be drafted, you're going to be a really late pick, he will transfer somewhere else. So actually, let me know what you guys think in the comments of this, because if you like guys being able to do that, I personally don't have a problem with it, because the way the NBA draft works, most of the guys don't end up working out. It's hard to find playing time. I actually think that I don't have a problem with this necessarily. Obviously, the portal itself, it's a whole other discussion, it's a whole other podcast with the issues and the flaws with that. But this on its own, I personally don't think is an issue by any means. But let's talk about Stand and Deliver with NXT. The pre-show match is a mixed 10-person tag team match. Hank and Tank, Shiloh Hill, EK Prosper, and Women's Speed Champion Ren Sinclair against Birthright, which is, of course, Lexis King, Uriah Connors, Stax, Ariana Grace, and their newest member they added a few weeks ago, Charlie Dempsey, in a mixed 10-man tag match. I think it's cool they're calling it like a pre-show-ish kind of match. This should be an entertaining match. I think the baby faces will win this match. Hank and Tank, I think they win this match. Then into the real main card, Soruka versus Zarya. By the way, I'm not sure if I clarified. This event is tomorrow night. By the way, you can find it on WWE's YouTube, and if you're international, you can watch it on Netflix. Soruka and Zarya. This ends at Stand and Deliver, at least it should. I think Zarya wins this match. Zarya deserves this win. She really does. I think if Soruka loses, she's going to be perfectly fine. She's on the brink of going to the main roster anyway. Zarya, I think, still has some things to accomplish in the next day. Not that she's not ready for the main roster. I think Zarya is very underrated. I think she's very good. I think she could succeed on the main roster right now, but I think they're going to want her to work on a few things still in NXT. So I think Zarya should win this match, and you build her up. And this way, you can kind of write Soruka off of NXT and send her to the main roster. There's a lot of women's wrestlers in NXT that should be promoted to the main roster. The main roster in WWE on the women's side has a very thin mid-card. You promote some of these ladies like Soruka, Blake Monroe, to the mid-card to give you some sort of mid-card. Obviously, a lot of these ladies, I think, are going to be main event caliber talents. The two I just named, Soruka and Blake Monroe, I think fit that bill perfectly. I think they will be main event talents eventually down the line. But for now, they can be a part of the mid-card, and they can compete, in the IC, be in the IC and the US title scenes. So I think this should pretty much be Soruka's last real moment on with NXT. We have the NXT Tag Team Championship, the Vanity Project against Los Americanos, Rayo and Bravo. I think Rayo and Bravo should win this match. I'm going to pick them to win. Look, it doesn't make any sense that on Raw, on the main roster, they are heels, and in Mexico and AAA and on NXT, they're faces, but they have legit traction in NXT. The crowd loves them. You might as well use it to your advantage. Again, I think this gimmick is stupid. It does not work in the United States of America. It works in Mexico. AAA does not work here. But they're over. Obviously, the people behind the mask. So spoiler, not really a spoiler. It's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. They're both outstanding wrestlers. They're very underutilized. I think they should win the NXT Tag Team Championships. They got a lot of momentum right now. The NXT North American Championship, Miles Bourne against Johnny Gargano. So I'm kind of torn on this one. I think it's awesome that this match is taking place. I think this is going to be a fantastic match. Miles Bourne needs to get some more credit. His work recently has been Really, really good. Ever since the end of that that Ethan Page storyline, he's got had his character shifted a little bit. He became a little bit more aggressive, but he's still a babyface. It's probably to the point where he can now take us to the main roster at some point. So I really like the work that Miles Bourne is doing. His title reign so far has been really, really good. I'm gonna say he retains the NXT North American Championship against Johnny Gargano. I don't have a problem with Johnny Gargano winning. I mean, he is NXT, but I think the best course of action. This kind of reminds me of the feud with Finn Balor and CM Punk. Like, I would have loved to see Finn Balor win and get a world title reign. I think we all want that. We all want Finn to have a legit a run as a babyface again. But the best course of action was to have him put on a banger match and kind of remind people, hey, I can still do this. I'm still an elite talent. And then obviously Finn Balor's going to fight Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania. He'll win that match and then he'll go off and do some other stuff. I think Gargano finds himself again, puts on an incredible match. He kind of reminds the people who he truly is. He's going to get a legit singles run with Ciampa now on the one with the company. And I think Miles Bourne does retain, but Gargano kind of reminds people who he truly is. And reminds himself in kayfabe who he truly is. NXT Women's North American Championship, Tatum Paxton against Blake Monroe. I have Tatum Paxton retaining. Her and Izzy's Dames feud I thought was fantastic. Obviously, it was very personal, but it was dragged on a little bit for me. I thought they should not have played hot potato with the championship. I would have liked to see, there's two cage matches that they had to end the feud. I thought was very good, but I thought it should have ended at the last pay-per-view that NXT had. I thought that should have been it for the feud. That was a really good match. Where it should have ended. I like this feud with Tatum Paxton and Blake Monroe, but I think Pac deserves some sort of legitimate lengthy title reign with the North American Championship. So I think you have to retain, and this way you can kind of get the wheels in motion of putting Blake Monroe in the NXT Women's Championship scene, and that will be probably her last act at NXT before she goes to Friday Night SmackDown. Then the NXT Women's Championship match. By the way, the women's division of NXT is so good. JC Jane will defend in a triple threat against Kendall Gray and Lola Vice. By the way, why did they not just make it official on? Why did they end it on cliffhanger and NXT on Tuesday? That was so dumb. I just want to put that out there. I think Kendall Gray is going to win this match. I mentioned it yesterday. I think Kendall Gray does win this match. JC has an incredible reign. I love JC Jane. Big fan. I don't know why Lola Vice is even in this match. I do not think she's going to win. I didn't think it was needed. But though I do love Lola Vice a lot. But Kendall Gray, she dropped the Evolution Championship so that she can really focus on being an NXT superstar. I think they put the title on Kendall Gray. I think it's time to pull the trigger, and I think that's what happens. And then the Fatal 4-Way. Joe Hendry will defend against Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, and Tony D'Angelo. I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to say Tony D'Angelo wins. I love this dude. The only reason I think he might not win, he's so ready for the main roster. This gimmick is now main roster ready. The one he had before, his character was he was kind of like this guy lacked confidence when he was part of that family kind of thing in that group that he was in. That was not going to work on the main roster. This gimmick is going to work. That guy is a badass. He's going to wreak havoc when he gets to the main roster. This might seem really confusing and strong and not right. He feels like an Omofemi light. I'm not trying to compare it necessarily. Omofemi is in a class of his own. But just a guy who will have a seamless transition to the main roster eventually. Just obviously a big, bad guy who's just going to wreck people, very intimidating, but also has a legit personality and can work you on the microphone. His entrance was badass. I love the guy. I could see them having him lose, and then you catapult him onto the main roster. WrestleMania, like I mentioned, is in about 3 weeks. Actually, no, I'm getting confused with the NFL draft. It's in about 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow, actually. So maybe right after Mania, he could show up. Maybe have him lose, but I think they're going to want him to have an NXT Championship reign first, kind of like Omofemi did. So I think Tony D'Angelo wins this match. I think he wins this match. If not, then I think Joe Hendry will retain. But I think Tony D'Angelo will be my pick to win that match. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. Have a good weekend. Until next time, so long and have a great day.